Good morning, my dear students. We were discussing chapter number 5, the poem Television. We already saw about the poem and the poem in detail. Today we are going to see the line-wise explanation of the poem. First of all, lines 1 to 6. The poem opens in an abstract dramatic way. The poet addresses the parents to convince their children about the negative impact of watching television on their minds. He says that they have learned an important lesson about television. It is that television is an idiot box, that it makes the viewers stupid and dull. Therefore, the children should not be allowed to come near the television set and view its programs. The poet adds that the television set should not be installed inside our house at all. So in the beginning itself, the poet is criticizing watching television. He is calling this as an idiot box, and he is criticizing that those who are watching the programs in the television will become stupid and dull. Because of that, he is asking the parents to convince their children about the negative impacts of watching television. And also, he is asking the parents not to install televisions in their house. When we come to lines 7 to 12, the poet gives a general observation here. He says that it has been observed that children sit and stand before the television set lazily and stare at the screen continuously. They go on watching television until their eyes seem to come out. The poet humorously says that a week ago he saw a dozen eyeballs of children laying on the floor as a result of excessive TV watching. Again, poet is criticizing watching television. He is telling that the people will become lazy by watching television, and also he is concentrating on the physical effects of watching television for a long time. The lines 1 to 6 talked about the mental influences of watching television for a long time, and lines 7 to 12 talks about the physical effects of watching television for a long time. First, he said that the people will become stupid and dull, and he criticized that the people will become lazy, and also by staring at the screen, children will face a lot of physical problems too. In a humorous way, he is criticizing the way that we stare at the screen. He is telling that last week he saw a dozen eyeballs of children laying on the floor. He is trying to tell that people are watching television like the eyeballs will come out. When we come to lines 13 to 21, the poet is continuing criticizing watching television. Children go on staring at the television screen. They seem to be hypnotized by it. But what they get out of this activity is useless and harmful stuff. By saying staring at the television screen and seem to be hypnotized by it, the poet is trying to say that the television got a serious effect on our beliefs and our attitudes. Television can create negative attitude in the heart of people by telecasting harmful stuffs. Poet in a harsh way says that by watching the television, people will get only useless and harmful stuff. The poet admits that parents have some advantages in letting the children watch television. Children remain quiet and do not disturb them. They do not climb out of the windows, nor do they indulge in fights with one another. They leave their parents free to cook lunch or wash utensils laying in the sink. The poet here cautions against the inherent danger in getting such freedom by the parents. The poet is agreeing that there is some benefits for the parents, but at the same time he is telling that it is not a benefit, it will kill the heart of children. It will take out the power of imagination from the heart of children. Even though the parents will get enough time to do their steps, the children's life is being spoiled. Here, parents are ready to give mobile phones or television in order to keep the children calm and quiet. If children are getting either phone or television, they will not fight, they will not disturb, they will not make much sound. They will sit idle and stare at the television or stare at the mobile phone. That is a good time for the parents to complete their works. They may be busy with their office works or they want to do some household works. But if we allow the children to watch the television or use the mobile phone for a long time, it is making physical and mental problems for the children. So in a long run, watching television is not a good thing. It is a harmful thing. The poet is trying to explain that through these lines. When we look into lines 22 to 33, this is the crux of the poem, or this is the basic or essential point that the poet is trying to share here. The poet uses all capitals to emphasize his point. He asks parents if they have ever considered what harm it does to their children when they continue to watch television for a very long time continuously. He says, it rots the sense in the head, it kills imagination dead. Both these lines he is using exclamation marks, which shows that with a very serious emotion he is telling to all the parents that watching television rots the sense in the head, and watching television is killing the imagination of the children. This is and should be the major concern of all the parents. Even though there are some benefits, like children will sit for a long time, will not fight with the siblings, or will not climb on the window and jump down. This should be the major concern of all the parents, that watching television is rots the sense in the head and it kills imagination dead. Television watching is a passive activity. It receives everything as it is. It blocks fresh thinking. So it makes the child viewer dull. The child cannot distinguish between the real and the fantastic. His brain becomes as soft as cheese, and he loses the power to think and imagine things. And he says this has been confirmed by many independent research surveys.